we're heading into what's called the Eighth Front War, and I want to talk about this. This is not, you don't have to be anti-Semitic to join the conversation. If you are, even better. No, I'm kidding. We're not promoting anti-Semitism. That's what they're saying we're doing. We're not promoting hatred of Jewish people. We're not even talking about Jewish people. We're actually talking about the Israeli government today, Netanyahu's regime, and a war that he's decided to wage on us. Now, I think this is insane because just a few weeks ago, I had brought on remote right through a video, one of Israel's top propagandists who works for Netanyahu, who basically said that there's going to be this new digital front, this eighth front warfare. They are fighting their battles on 8 fronts now, Israel says, in order to do what? Well, I mean, one can only guess based on the fact that they say what they want, and that is a technocratic, feudalistic, globalist society that takes revenge on the Christian European population, as their rabbis state, in order to bring Jewish dominance internationally and punish us for the sacking of their temple through the Roman Empire. And that's genuinely what these people want to accomplish as they rebuild the Third Temple, and with Sam Altman and Palantir, control us all, create AI, create the Antichrist, and declare themselves God. Anyway, that's a very short and simple thing. But let's talk about what's actually going on here. So you saw in that video, Netanyahu says that they're now going to accomplish and defeat their war in whatever means possible. Now, there's a third video right there that I want you to bring up before we talk about this, Mike. It's called Influencers Being Targeted. You can see that there. And basically, in order to start fighting the warfare, Netanyahu realizes that we are missing a key proponent, and that's that they've lost the narrative. They've lost the generation. And so instead of trying to convince people to agree with them, they've decided to buy people out and to spend unlimited amounts of money buying influencers. So pay attention to this. One of those influencers, Emily Austin, was with a group of influencers at the Knesset, I think, in Israel, or that might be here in the United States. I'm actually not entirely sure, since Netanyahu currently is here. I think it actually might be in New York. Talking to him, listen to what he says. This is absolutely diabolical. Play this video, Mike, and I want to talk about this Eighth Front War.
So something I would like to raise, which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. And so specifically with Charlie Kirk's assassination, who was a big mentor of mine, he's my first mentor in the space, evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel. What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside of the diaspora?
Christian influencers. Okay. He said, he talked about the woke right, and he said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke right, because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're but they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. The weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are in social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. That's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people, and give directly to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpoint? Yes.
All right. I just want to jump into this. There's so much to break down in that video, but like straight up at the very beginning, he says that I'm gonna try to get closer to my mic here. He says specifically with Emily Austin, she realized that the only thing keeping Israeli support in the United States are evangelical Christians. And I asked a question on X, do you think that evangelical Christianity is a psyop to take advantage of Christians and support Israel, a state that's working outside of our interests? And even a lot of evangelicals agree that they think it's been co-opted. But I feel like we got to talk about that in our country, right? You have to talk about the fact that we're in an eighth front war where there is a foreign nation trying to prevent our nation from prioritizing its own ideas, its own will, its own infrastructure, and to spend money, trillions of dollars fighting their wars. And the fact that we don't want that, he's declaring us enemies, but then he's also there saying basically what we're going to have to do is make sure that we A, capture evangelical support, keep it, and B, to those that we don't support, we need to censor them and control what information they get to control the narrative. Did I get that wrong? Is that what you saw too, Braden?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. I mean, he literally called people who disagreed with the Israel narrative the woke Reich, as if he's comparing, those people to Nazi Germany, which is what everyone, on the left does. That is the playbook. Everyone I don't like is Hitler. But it's different coming from the prime minister of one of the strongest, because they have our military support, one of the strongest countries in the world. And so it's not, James Lindsay or some other, like middle centrist right influencer calling people who are farther right than him the woke right or whatever. Like, this is literally the prime minister of a country who is calling people enemies of the state. And you know what happens when people are called enemies of the state? Like, they justify violence against you because you become deplorable. You become they dehumanize you so that they can do things to you. And so this whole idea of, well, Elon Musk is our friend, and TikTok, I really hope it goes through. I mean, I just got banned on TikTok, so I don't really care if it goes through or not. 1.9 million followers, cheers. Although TikTok does suck, like genuinely it does. I don't care about that app anymore. So unless Larry wants to, bring me back and be like, hey, Braden, come on back. Although I highly doubt it, considering he is the largest single donor of the Friends of the IDF, the FIDF, out of any other person. I think he's donated like $40 million to them or something crazy like that as a single person, not counting any contributions made charitably through his companies or anything like that. So there's going to be a slow technological takeover. At least I'm predicting it to be slow. If they can manage to push TikTok through quickly, then they're going to try to push other platforms even more. I mean, Meta's already Mark Zuckerberg. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon and Amazon Prime, and the Washington Post. So you already have massive conglomerates which are owned by Israeli influences. So I'm not really is anyone really surprised at this point?
No, but Sarah, I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
mean,
interesting because he brings up. I was like, real fast, go into this, but I want you to say something real fast to the terms of. I know you're Catholic. I know you guys are both Catholic, but he just politicized and admitted something that evangelical Christianity, that Israel has a vested interest in ensuring that the United States remains evangelical and not Catholic and not Orthodox, not because he cares about the salvation of Christians or truth about Christ, so that he can maintain control of his country in our narrative. I want you to say what you're going to say, but I also want you to speak to that too, whether you agree with that, because that's a controversial statement, considering the majority of Americans are evangelical.
yeah, I mean, that's not really surprising at all. I think that's kind of, I guess, common knowledge that the evangelical vote is pretty much the biggest reason why America has supported Israel for so long. But it is interesting when you look into the history of Christians, supporting Christian Zionism, dispensationalism, and all that. It's a very recent thing, and it's like even a lot of Protestants, like the Reformed Church, or I think different types like Presbyterians, Anglicans, they don't even have the same Christian Zionist theology that evangelicals do. It's like a very modern thing. And if you look at like most Protestants and all Catholics and Orthodox, it's like literally the only Christians in all of the world who have this weird thing where they pretend like there's another dispensation, a separate covenant that God has with the Jewish people, that that's different than what he has with Christians just because of their ethnicity or whatever. It's like, this is literally just pretty much just Christians in America who believe this, and pretty much only the past 100 years. So yeah, there's obviously been a subversive political agenda to spread Christian Zionism among evangelicals. And you'll even notice, I don't know if you guys remember the whole televangelist movement, but a lot of boomers grew up getting their theology from the TV during the 60s and the 70s, when Israel needed the most support. And you'll see a lot of the backers of these televangelists, like Billy Graham or whatever, were Zionists or Jews or whatever. They want to get these specific preachers on the TV, and that's why a lot of boomers believe the things that they do. And a lot of boomer Christians are evangelicals. They got their theology from the TV, not from church or a specific like actual Protestant theology. Is just like this modern invention. Totally politicized.
One of my favorite quotes is from my own confirmation saint, Saint Justin Martyr, where he says, "Do not say the scriptures are yours; they are now ours." And then I pulled up another one from Saint Barnabas that says, "Don't add to your sins by saying that the covenant is both theirs and ours. Yes, it is ours, but they lost it forever." And so even the early Christians recognized that the continuation of the covenant God made to the chosen people of Israel, which for, everyone watching, most of the people watching already know this, but Israel as a word was the name of Jacob. Jacob was just renamed Israel, and Jacob's descendants, through which Jesus came, according along the lineage of, are just the people of God. And so the place itself has no correlation biblically, and it's so interesting watching specifically boomers just lose their minds when you bring this up, because like you said, it's not anti-Semitic, it's not hateful of a group of people to simply point out, hey, this doesn't match up.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, it was to play this video for us here for a second, Mike, of the PragerU video. So a lot of these influencers are being bought out, right? I'm going to have a conversation hopefully soon with Officer Tatum, who we are calling Officer Talmud, or Talmud Tatum. People who like met with Netanyahu, switched up their narrative, and are kind of defending the indefensible. And one of the weird switch ups that I've seen is allegedly Alex Jones called me out like 20 to 30 minutes in his show today and called me a Jew hater. I haven't seen it yet. That's what the chat's saying. I would imagine it's probably about my viral video about this topic, talking about how we are legitimately being targeted, harassed, and punished. And everybody knows it. You can't hide it anymore. Okay? It's like you can't hide the fact that if you are not supportive of a foreign nation over your own nation, you will be punished. You will be ostracized. You will be beat down and mocked and ridiculed and pushed into the corner unless you submit to their totalitarian regime. And when you say things in the same sentence, we've got to get control of things here. And you also mentioned there are other ways we can attack this, like with drones, right? That's a very, very loaded statement as a political leader currently at war. And then you actually call this the Eighth Front War. So you say, this narrative issue, we've got to get control of it. And then we told everyone, this is the problem, you tell everyone the selling of TikTok has nothing to do with China. Okay? It has nothing to do with it. And what did they tell me? Oh, you're a Chinese propagandist. Oh, you just want our information in China's hands. Well, I'd rather have my information in China's hands than Israel's hands, to be quite honest. I wouldn't like it in either. But at least one country said they want to kill me, and the other country, I don't think they want me to die. I don't think that either country are our allies, and I don't believe that either are to be trusted, and I don't think either of their governments are friendly with us. But I just believe that Israel has a clear interest in destroying any patriotic movement in this country that seeks to restore order.